Hey everyone, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2015 GMC Sierra 1500, we're going to be showing you how to install the CURT Trailer Hitch receiver. Before we do that though, let's just take a minute, we'll check this one out and make sure it's going to be the right hitch for you. For those of you whose Sierras didn't come equipped with a factory hitch, this is going to be a good option for you. And I feel like with this setup, it's a good kind of general purpose all-around hitch. You know, it's more on the light duty side compared to some of the other ones available, but not everyone needs a super heavy duty hitch, right? So for those of you that just maybe looking to pull, you know, some medium-sized trailers around or use an accessory occasionally, this will be a real nice setup for you. I do like the way the hitch looks. For the most part, it kind of tucks up behind the bumper there and isn't too noticeable. Honestly, to me, it kind of puts off a factory type option. Has a gloss black finish. And one of the things that's nice with this setup is it's going to work with a lot of the different trucks. You know, whether you have a two-wheel drive model, four-wheel drive, short bed, long bed, it'll bolt up and work for your pickup. The hitch is going to have a 2" by 2" receiver tube opening, which is super common size. A lot of stuff will work with it. It's going to use that standard 5/8 size pin and clip. Keep in mind though, one doesn't come with the hitch. If you need one, not a huge deal. You can always get it here at eTrailer. A lot of times too, if you end up buying a new accessory, they'll come with one. There's something to look out for there. And the safety chain openings, they're thick steel, they're loop style, and large enough to allow you to use pretty much any size hook that your trailer might have on it. We'll grab a couple measurements now, and these will help you figure out what type of accessories will work best. So if we go from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, that's going to be about 18 inches. So as far as a ball mount goes, you know, if you're pulling a trailer, a 2 to maybe 4 inch drop would probably work best for most scenarios there. And if you go from the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of the rear bumper, that's only going to be about 4 inches, which is good. So you shouldn't really run into too many issues. But for those of you that are happening to use a fold-up cargo carrier or bike rack or something, you can use that to help figure out exactly if you can put it in that upright position without hitting the back of your truck. As far as the hitch's weight capacities go, it's going to have a 600-pound maximum gross tongue weight rating, which that's going to be the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch, and a 6,000-pound maximum gross trailer weight rating, which will be the amount of weight pulling on the hitch. It is the weight of your trailer plus anything that you might have in or on it. This can be used with the weight distribution system, which is a separate component. What happens when you use that is it'll keep your Sierra and your trailer level whenever you're towing it down the road. That's pretty popular on these campers and enclosed trailers, so that's what you plan on doing, might be worth looking into. And if you happen to use that weight distribution, the capacities do increase. Maximum gross tongue weight will go up to 1,000, and maximum gross trailer weight will go up to 10,000. But with all that in mind, I do always like to recommend, it's always a good idea just to grab your truck's owner's manual. That way you can check in there and make sure it can handle that amount of weight safely. With all that said, if you might be looking for something different, the good news is there's quite a few other hitches available. And I like a couple other ones. The eTrailer, I feel like, is a good middle of the road hitch. It has a little bit higher capacities than this. It looks very similar, but it does have a matte black type finish, which I think looks better, and it kind of tends to hold up a little bit better. So you could always check that out. And for those of you that might be kind of pushing the limits a little bit as far as weight capacities go, or just want a hitch that's really overbuilt, B&W makes a really nice one as well. But other than that, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you know, something like this will work in just about any situation for the vast majority of you out there. So really can't go wrong. As far as the installation is concerned, really straightforward. Drop the spare tire down, you pull out a couple factory bolts, put the hitch up, bolt it together. So shouldn't really run into too many issues, but if you don't have a place to work on it or don't feel like messing with it, have the time, I understand that. You can always use our dealer locator network, and that can help you find a shop in your neighborhood that can set it up for you. But if you're doing it yourself, hang around, we'll go ahead and get started on it now. To begin our installation, we're going to be working underneath the back of your truck, and it definitely helps if you temporarily lower and remove the spare tire. Gives you a lot more room to work. But with that said, we're going to be focusing on each one of our frame rails here. If we look at our frame, we're going to have these 2 factory bolts here. We need to remove them. And from this point on, whatever we do to one side of our truck, we'll also do to the other side because it'll be set up the same way. But this bolt, it's a 21 millimeter head. Pull that out. Same thing with this one. That'll also be a 21. Go ahead and pull these out for now. The hitch is going to have 4 attachment points on each side. So we'll reuse our factory bolts for those 2 holes. And then you're going to have these factory holes in the frame here. And what you can do, take a spacer block and a carriage bolt. You want that carriage bolt to sit down flat in that spacer block. Just go ahead and set those right there in them holes. If you grab your trailer hitch, it's going to come with 4 of these flat washers, and these are going to go on the 2 attachment points closest to the front of the truck. And what I like to do is just take a piece of packing tape and just tape the washer to it, as opposed to trying to hold the heavy hitch up there and sneak a washer in there and get everything to line up. It just makes things a little bit easier. So I'll tape that on there, cut a little hole out, and do the same thing for this one here. If you have someone that can help you with this part, definitely makes it more manageable. We'll take our hitch and line it up, and I'm going to take this factory bolt here. That'll be the easiest since we can just thread it right in. Get a few turns going on that. The other factory bolt, drop that down. Get that started, and for the new hardware, you're just going to have a flange nut that'll go on that bolt. Once you have all the hardware in place and hand tight, you can come back and snug it all down. The factory hardware, of course, is going to be your 21 millimeter. The new hardware, though, you can use a 3/4 inch socket. We're going to make sure now to come back with a torque wrench and tighten down all of the hardware to the amount specified in your instructions. Once you're all torqued down, I went ahead and raised our spare tire back into position. No issues there. And with that done, that'll finish our look at and our installation of the CURT Trailer Hitch Receiver on our 2015 GMC Sierra 1500.